Hey guys, Chris Philip here, and welcome to my guide for the Burning Sorcerer in Diablo 4. Just a couple notes before we get started. Just keep in mind this is just a cool, funny team build that I kind of threw up together in the first weekend of the beta. Also, do keep in mind that this isn't optimized in any way. It's just kind of fun, it's very powerful even though it's not very optimized, but still. And also obviously because it was the beta, we were maxed at level 25, so you can expect that at max level this might even be somewhat viable, but there are a lot of other parts that will come into it. Alright guys, so now for skills, you want to take Firebolt, just your basic attack, and you want to take your first point into Enhanced Firebolt. It'll just make it so you can actually spread the burning effect to more enemies. Then for your filler spell, you want to take Incinerate. There's a couple of reasons for this. Mostly you want to take this second, the node on the left. That just gives you damage reduction, 20% off of any enemy that's burning from Incinerate. And then this will tie into a legendary that you can actually get, which will just buff up your burning damage, which I will show in a bit. Then for defensives, I went with Flame Shield, just gives you 2-second invulnerability and deals some damage around you. I wouldn't really max it out, you don't really get much out of it, you maybe get like 1 more second. If you feel like you need more survivability, and 2 seconds just to kind of get out of the way isn't cutting it, take Ice Armor, it will just make you really tanky. Then for the main bit of this build, which is Hydra, you just want to rush this. If you're leveling, this is the main bit that you want to get to. You want to take the first point and then the one on the left. This will make it so Hydra will have an extra head from this while you're healthy, which is 80% more of your total life. And then you'll actually burn enemies for 12% of his base damage, which will actually count for the burning damage that you were dealing as well with your Firebolt. So again, just kind of stacking up burning damage and just buffing that bit up. With another legendary that I'll show you later, you can actually have 2 of these. Normally you will only have 1 Hydra set at any one given time. With the legendary you can have 2, which will just ramp up your damage astronomically. You can literally melt bosses. And then for the mastery skills, I took Firewall. No need to max it out really, it deals decent damage, and you just want to take mostly for the first node, which is 25% increased burning damage. Again, stacking up that burning damage. I took Wizard's Firewall simply because you're gonna be having a lot of them out, and it will just kind of give you nice passive mana regeneration. And then you want to take your Fire Ultimate, which is Inferno, just big AoE, deals a lot of burning damage. Again, scaling that bit up, just want to burn everything to a crisp. If you're really struggling for like CC and so, I would take Prime Inferno. I actually played with it for a bit, but I wasn't really struggling, so I took it off. It will just pull everything towards the center, so if you're feeling like you can't really survive and you just want everything like aggregated, you can take this. If you're really struggling for mana as well, you can also take Supreme Inferno. It'll just make your fire spells cost no mana. I don't think it's that worth it because Inferno doesn't last for that long, but again, if you're really struggling, it's an option. Another one would be Fiery Surge. Every time you kill a burning enemy, you just get 10% more mana regen. And then for extra points that you might just have lying around, you can see I have 2 points here. I've got Inner Flames, just gives me a couple percentages more of damage while I'm healthy, which is always. And then Pyromancy just kind of gives me a bit of an immobilizing effect, so people can actually stand on my firewall, which I feel like that's the only issue with the build, is sometimes might be that they just walk away. So you really want to make sure you're tanky enough so that they'll crowd around you and you can make sure they're staying on your firewall. As for early game and leveling, I would not suggest taking these first skills, possibly Firebolt if you really like it. The basic skill, I don't feel like it really matters that much. For your core skill, you'll want to take something with a bit more AoE probably. Incinerate doesn't really do a lot of damage early game. I actually started out with Fireball, it's really unreliable. So I'd probably suggest something like Chain Lightning, for example, is really good. But, just experiment a bit. The build really comes online when you get to Hydra, so that's really what you are looking for. So now for skill assignment, obviously this is up to you. I just wanted to mention that you can actually have a passive version of one of your skills or another skill that you might want to. I take Firewall enchantment, which basically means that every time an enemy takes burning damage, there's a 5% chance that 2 of the firewalls would just spawn underneath them. They do like a cross shape. So basically you get 2 firewalls for free, which then increases burning damage. They do damage themselves, obviously, and you get the mana regen from them as well. So you basically just get mana regen for free. Found that it's actually reliable enough. When you have enough enemies that are burning, it will just ramp up, because then everything will be burning and you just start generating them really quickly. Right, so now for gear, there's 3 legendaries that you need to get for maximum damage. So the first one would be the Engulfing Flames effect, which just means that when the damage over time bar is bigger than their total life, you just deal more burning damage. Again, just ramping up burning damage all the time. Then you've got Serpentine Ring, which just makes you so you can have an additional Hydra active. It will reduce the duration a bit, but the output of DPS that you get from it is just massive, because each head will just target a different enemy, so you can spread it way more. Then I've got my weapon, which is the Conflagration Staff. While channeling Incinerate, your burning damage is increased by 40%. Again, just ramping up that burning damage when you've got it. Spread around, and then you cast Incinerate with your firewalls on the ground. You'll just melt through everything. Right, now for the last bit of gearing that I wanted to mention. Survivability legendaries. I've got 2 that I found that are really good. You've got this one, I believe it's called the Crowded Sage. You just heal for each enemy that's close to you up to a maximum. It just makes it so you never take damage, basically. And then you'll get the protecting effect at some point, which means when you get hit, you'll just summon a bubble around you. You are immune inside of the bubble. So with those 2, really, I've never had any issues where I would feel like I was gonna die trying to cast my spells. One thing to maybe keep in mind is that this bubble would actually push enemies back, so try and be careful when that happens so you don't lose out on DPS, basically. So then for your main rotation, you just want to basically throw out 2 Hydras, try and throw out a few firewalls on the floor, and just see everything burn very quickly. If it's like a boss or something that might have a bit more health, just keep on firing. Your basic ability is throw out some Incinerates, wait for your mana to recharge, basically, and use your Inferno. There's a big stack of mobs, or if you're fighting a boss again, just throw it out on cooldown. Don't be afraid to use your Flame Shield. The cooldown is really not that long, 20 seconds. You'll be more than enough to survive. Cool, guys, and there we go. So that's my take on a Fire Mage Sorcerer kind of build using burning effects. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, do drop a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And I will see you guys next time. See ya!
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright. Come on and slam!